This is Jonathan Hickman's Ultimate Spider-Man with art primarily by Marco Cicchetto. This is the second coming. Everyone is just freaking out about how great this book is. And
you sure they're not doing something else,
nope,
maybe?
I can't say that they are. Not within the first 2 minutes of this video, I'll tell you that much. But we talked about Ultimate Invasion, and I'll be honest, the reason we did that is because I want to talk about Spider-Man.
I could kind of tell, yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
You?
Who'd have thought? And I mean, look, it's the unsung hero of the line. There are a bunch of great Ultimate books that are out there. In fact, I don't think there is a dud among them. Certainly, they all have their own pockets of fandom. Ultimate Black Panther, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimates, and Ultimate Spider-Man.
Interesting. I didn't even know that this was a thing until we did that last episode.
That's right.
Like,
yeah.
I didn't know there was a new Ultimate Universe.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, like, as you were describing it, I'm like, oh, that's kind of like DC's doing Absolute, and that's kicking ass too. Like, everyone's kicking ass with their new
alternate universe. Absolute and Ultimate are running neck and neck, and they are doing their jobs. And those jobs are getting new or lapsed fans back in the comic book stores buying regular books. I will say that I am surprised by how popular it is. Because every time I read it, I enjoy it, and surprised / not surprised, after like the 4th issue, I was like, okay, yeah, I see the pattern here, by how little Spider-Man is in it. And yet how persistently popular the book remains.
Like, it's just well made?
It is well made. Oh, yeah, no. Stem to stern.
Well, there's love that goes into this.
There's a lot of love. And what's interesting is, you know, Hickman really inherited this new Ultimate Universe. Donny Cates just tried really hard to build up to bringing back the Ultimate Universe, and then... Ultimately, that did not work out for him. But then Hickman took it over, started the Ultimate Invasion, and kind of created this whole new Ultimate Universe. And when Ultimate Spider-Man was on the docket, which of course it was, there's no way they weren't going to launch it with it, Hickman wanted Zdarsky to write it. He was like, I don't want to, I mean, obviously I'm not the guy to do this. You want to get the guy who wrote Spider-Man Like Story, or the guy who wrote that wonderful Spectacular run. The more that Zdarsky heard Hickman's pitch, and Chip got to read like all of Hickman's plans and the build-up and Ultimate Invasion and all the connections and stuff, and he's like, this is your book, man. Like, you should write it.
It seems like you already know what you want.
Right, and I don't want to like do what you want. I would want to do it my way, but I'd also want to see what you wrote. Like, I'm a fan too, and I want to read your plan. He bowed
You
out.
have real specific ideas about what you want this to be.
But also, if you look at the evolution of the new Ultimate Universe now, it's like, yeah, but there used to be a Hickman who was like, okay, here's the plan, and then it just goes in this direction, and then I wrap it up in an awesome event.
Right.
Now he's like, no, I turn the crank and I just set it loose, and then someone else
I'm the
shows up and
clockmaker.
finishes it up for me. I'm just a god, okay?
Right.
And I think the same thing's gonna happen in the Ultimate Universe. I don't think he's ever gonna finish it. I don't think he's ever gonna have anything to do with it outside of being like, well, here's where I think it should end up. And Dennis Camp will be like, okie dokie, Skip. But
I might change a couple things too.
oh, I'm definitely going to change some things. And Hickman's going to be like, well, that's the nature of it. I learned that the hard way with X-Men and everything. So go ahead. I've learned to let go.
Right.
But he's also writing this Ultimate Spider-Man book, and it is so different from everything that he has written. And later on, he thanked Zdarsky for not doing it because it would have been just as successful, but also Hickman's having a good time writing it. And it's like, yeah, he's well suited. He's a good writer. Yes, everyone thinks of Hickman as like charts and graphs and data pages, and he's just got all these pins and yarn and plans. But also like, hey, how about you write this like deep, sleepy melodrama about people in their late 30s? And he's like, yeah, I kind of have some opinions about that for some reason.
But let me get my charts and graphs first.
Yeah, and there are, I mean, like, listen, there's going to be charts and graphs, but not nearly as much as you'd think.
Well, that's in the book. I'm talking about it in his own home.
Oh, yeah, he definitely has charts and graphs all over the place. But, like, this book, I've actually seen nary a chart or graph.
Yeah, I didn't see any. You just flipped through like 7 or 8 pages, and there
Yeah,
wasn't a single.
no, there's no charts and graphs in here, but he definitely is using them. But yeah, it's amazing. So the thing you need to understand about this Ultimate Universe is it's in the 6160 universe. Forget about young Peter Parker. Forget about even our Peter Parker in the main 616 universe, who is a stunted man-child who will never get back to where he was 20 years ago.
He can't. I'm sorry.
He can't.
Especially not now. Now we have this one.
Well,
so
now we have
don't
this one, and
we don't even need that Peter to grow
you can
up.
feel the kind of like appreciation from the top brass going like, that'll shut him up.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I don't have to worry about it, which means woe be unto you if you cancel this book. Because everyone over 35 is going to be like, where am I going to go then? And I feel like the Marvel people are going to be like, well, where else are you going to go, baby? Just come back. And they're going to go, nah, because my 401k is wiped out. And I can't spend $6 on a monthly comic book anymore. That's over for me.
Yeah.
But
It's a little too real.
I'm sorry, but that's how this book is too. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why this book is resonating with so many people in their mid to late 30s when it's a book about a guy in his mid to late 30s whose future was robbed from him by a elite force that he had no control over. But that's what this book is. I mean, it's a metaphor for Peter Parker in the main universe. It's a metaphor for all of us. And it's just this fun, sleepy story about this guy who's like, I don't know.
So who's the big bad?
There isn't one.
How do you get his powers?
The spider.
What?
Yeah.
So where's it going?
I don't know.
What's the big giant crossover event that's going to happen?
Okay,
and-
so there's a problem here.
Is this the universe that the Maker creates?
This is
Yes.
in the
Okay.
bubble,
Yes.
right?
And by the way, there's been some conjecture about whether the Maker found this universe
Right, we talked about
and
that.
closed the door behind him and then mucked it up, or if the Maker set it to be made and then mucked around with it.
Yeah, at certain key points.
Yes, and what we can all agree on is that the Maker used time travel, but could only go back so far. He couldn't go back so far as to like move protozoans and just completely alter the genetic structure of humanity.
Butterfly
I said
effect.
monkeys had enough.
Yeah.
It's time for the lemurs. They're gonna have.
Exactly. I want people to
Good
have.
time.
I want people to have like an opposable tail, but he also did muck with enough to make the Marvel Universe recognizable in some ways and unrecognizable in other ways. So it allows Peter to have had dead parents and be raised by May and Ben, but also May's dead and Ben's alive. Oh! The Maker is locked in a time bubble for the next 2 years.
Oh right.
And so the world that Maker has set up and all the cabals and everything in charge that he manipulated
Yeah.
are free to do whatever they wanted without his
Yeah,
influence.
so the like global government's all like effed up.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, they
Do the
are.
characters have to deal with that?
No, not in any way.
Oh, okay.
In fact, we're not even in the United States, but like that is so little to do with anything that's happening. You could just say like, yeah, like people who go, oh, you should just read this. If you want to get a new fan in here, you read Ultimate Spider-Man. It's like, there's what?
Is it the government run by a cabal?
Yeah. Each part of the government, like Kingpin's in this, and he runs just the New York part.
Oh.
But also,
But also it's mostly just the same.
it's all pretty much the same, and like there's still like firemen and stuff. Like you're still good. You can still like get a small business loan.
It's still the world outside your window.
Yes, except it's also not called the United States of America. Like that's how similar and completely not it is.
That's confusing.
But this book
Okay.
also makes no effort to
like talk about any of that.
reference the outside world outside of the very
Yeah,
direct
you don't
references
worry
of,
about that.
Yeah, like there is.
Hickman's still like working this out. He's just like, look, I got plans in place.
I mean,
but I'm not dealing with that in
Peter
Spider-Man.
Parker doesn't have to worry about that.
Peter Parker doesn't have to worry about that. And Dennis Camp is writing the Ultimates book, which is basically just the Ultimate Universe book where everything's going. And Hickman has nothing to do with that outside of like maybe telling Dennis where he was going. And that is a very universal book that has 100% no Spider-Man in it. To the point where there is like a vision of the future where all the heroes get together and Spidey ain't in it. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's the biggest thing in all universes, especially this one, and he's not in any of the montages. The freaking Peach Momoko Japanese X-Men, who was just more or less a manga published by a Western publisher with the Ultimates logo on it. Like, it's technically in the Ultimate Universe, but also, they're in the montage. But Spider-Man isn't. It either means that Hickman's like, don't touch Spider-Man, or Marvel's like, you can't use Spider-Man. Or Spider-Man's gonna die before all that shit happens. Either way, I ain't here for any of that.
I mean, you are.
Don't worry about
Well,
it.
I'm here for this.
Yeah.
When this shit gets crabbed, I walk.
Well, maybe they'll spin it out into another universe somehow.
Well, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. Because Miles from the main universe, which is ironic because he's not, is going to come to this universe, the Ultimate Universe, but not his Ultimate Universe.
A different one.
What?
Well, his power is that he jumps between
That's
universes.
not his
a lot.
power.
I mean,
Well,
it becomes
is
a power
now.
if it happens to you.
He
This is twice now.
didn't do that.
That's a pattern.
Yeah, I agree.
He's just like a stateless person. He's a person without a universe. Like, I don't belong anywhere. My universe is destroyed.
The universe blew up.
And I can't like apply for a visa because like the only person I would apply from is stuck in some weird time bubble.
Exactly, and he's an asshole. And I
He did invite me, though.
That's true, he did, and that's going to come up. The card is coming up in the big book. That he's
better.
gonna happen. Oh no, it is. It is.
Okay.
Yeah, he throws it away. He's like, you know what? I never want to go back, and he throws it in the trash.
Yeah, but then it keeps showing up.
Now his
Like the letters in Harry Potter.
his baby sister picks it up. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're not here to talk about any of that.
No.
Let's just get into this all too relatable situation where here's Peter Parker. He's 30, and he is married and he has 2 kids, May and Richard.
Okay. Cool.
He's married to Mary Jane. He works for the Daily Bugle, and he's kind of like, that's his personality. He's
Like,
he's like, yeah, that's
Everything didn't really work out exactly how I
Didn't
thought.
it?
It's not horrible, but
I mean, I'd say it's pretty good.
still working that same job, though.
No, he's not working that same
Oh,
job. And that's
no?
where you're like, what? Like, it opens with Peter, and it's like, here's Peter Parker. And he's like looking in the mirror, and it's like, and it's like, well, you're in shape. You have Mary Jane as a wife. You have 2 beautiful kids.
Yeah.
You can afford to live in this apartment. Your uncle's still alive. Now, granted, Aunt May did die in a horrible domestic terrorist attack recently.
Oh.
But you
Well,
did
that-
get a few good years out of Aunt May.
Right.
You know what weak cakes are.
Yeah, you can make them yourself.
It's probably just a little too soon, maybe.
It is a little soon. It is a little soon.
Okay.
But he is feeling like this not just because, as they say, he's been walking around for the last 30 plus years like he's had a black cloud over his head, but also because he had a visit from a character from this universe. And we'll flash back to that later, but it's Iron Lad. It's Tony Stark. And he's like, hey, I checked out the
God.
list of all these characters that the maker robbed. And in fact, if you recall, the end of the first issue of Ultimate Invasion was young Peter Parker at the science symposium with the
Right.
spider and the maker going like, yoink!
Yeah.
So the maker yoinked any number of characters and their origins, but he didn't like throw them in the incinerator. He put them in like a catalog system, and then when he went away in the bubble, Iron Lad had access, like broke into it and stole all that shit, took all the notes, the meticulous nerdy notes the maker took on all of them, and he's like, okay, so Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Hope to Millions, one of our most popular guys. Okay, gotta look him up. Newton Peter Parker. Okay, hey, I'm Iron Lad. I know that right now the news says that I murdered your aunt, but actually I didn't. That was the cabal. They pinned it on me. I'm a cool guy, and I got a time machine built into my chest. Don't worry about that right now, because if I did, maybe I could prevent that from happening, but I won't. But instead, I'm gonna give you this orb.
How do you feel about spiders?
Oh man, I gotta tell you, I don't really think about them at all.
Would you like to be bit by one?
Right. And literally, he doesn't like say you need to, but also you do. He gives him an orb, and he's like, look, let's put it this way. Rather than saying you have to be bitten by a spider, he's like, your destiny was
in that orb.
was robbed from you. And like,
Now
I
you
love
just reach on in.
and just
just-
close your eyes.
Just stick your hand inside, close your eyes for a little while, and wait.
No. And here's the thing. I really
just, like,
appreciate that it
shaking
isn't
around.
like that. Peter has to choose
Right.
and see it. Open-eyed.
Okay.
He has to be
Okay.
like, okay, spider, put on my hand, and you're gonna bite me. Like, it can't just be, he's like, no, maybe I'll do it. No. He has to
Okay.
whole-throatedly accept his destiny.
Is there
But
any
I also had to-
reference to totems?
None.
Okay.
No.
Good.
No, Iron Lad does not go like, you are the spider on this earth, and Anansi has chosen you as his emissary. If he did, Anansi would have sent another spider.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I have limitless spiders all in this hole.
there's a gazillion spiders all over the place. I'll send one to bite you while you're sleeping.
I just kind of figured, like, look, to keep the spider alive for a long time in this weird power ball, I had to feed it ahead of time.
Right.
So, like, it's going to take some time to be hungry. It might not bite you at first.
Right. You gotta have to shake
Give it
it
some
out.
time.
Yeah, just piss it off.
Maybe poke him a little bit.
I don't know how that spider survived for 15 years or more. But it did. I guess it's in a stasis field or something.
Yeah, it's a Pokeball.
Yeah,
well, it's in
the maker
no,
had
it's
it,
in
so.
a vial in the ball. The ball is also something too. So anyway, Peter gets that visit, but never mind that because he doesn't choose to do it. Right now, he's just like, well, we'll see. I don't know. But the point being,
I still have to make my kids breakfast, man.
well, that's the thing, right? And that's the real adult
of a
responsible thing to
dad
do.
now,
Yeah. Iron Lad shows up to Spider-Man as like a hologram, and he's like, hey, you know how you feel like you were destined for better things or bigger things? Like you just feel like you were.
You
and
are special.
Yeah, you're special actually, and it's all on this ball, and it's your choice, but like you deserve it.
Yeah, just call me Harry Potter or Percy Jackson or
Just
Katniss
any
Everdeen.
YA character.
But all grown up.
I actually wrote an article for CBR where I'm like, Spider-Man is, if any superhero, is a YA fantasy character. But in any case, so he takes the ball and then he thinks about it. Because he's also like, I have a wife, I got kids. Like, this guy who I thought literally like 10 minutes ago killed my aunt is now telling me that's a lie, the government's a lie, everything's being run by supervillains, a multiversal traveler completely mucked with my destiny personally. Oh, and
Seems
also
a little
runs the
far-fetched.
world?
Yeah.
Oh, no. He buys it.
Oh.
He's just like, do I want to be
shouldn't.
part of that?
How did Iron Lad kill Aunt May?
The
What happened?
Cabal shot a space laser at a building in New York, which had a bunch of Spider-Man characters in it, and it was from the Stain Stark orbiting defense satellite. So as far as the world was aware, Iron Lad, grief-stricken over the death of his father, just took it out on the world and blasted that building.
Okay.
And he didn't. But also because they knew he was going to be a problem, they pinned it on him so that he couldn't go to ground.
I killed 2 birds with 1 stone.
Exactly. Quite a few more than 2, let me tell you. Aunt May's dead. Norman Osborn and his wife die in that explosion. And untold numbers of other characters that we
Who
could
are
kill for.
nameless and-
or have names we haven't
Oh, we
gotten
can
to.
kill them at
We
any
can just
point.
say
Yeah.
like what they were in the building too.
Yeah, where's that character? Oh, they died in the building. It's a very popular building. So anyway, it's been some time and they're going to the memorial for this tragedy. And so Pete has to get ready and he's going to take his Uncle Ben to the memorial. So he goes to his job at the Daily Bugle, and when we get to the Daily Bugle, classic old school Daily Bugle, Jameson is screaming Parker, and he's, doing the thing you expect from a Spider-Man book. Jameson's like, Parker! And then he sees Peter and goes, oh, hey, Peter, your uncle's in the other room. Parker! And he runs into the co-editor's office, and he's screaming at Ben Parker, J. Jonah Jameson's colleague and best friend. In this universe, because Uncle Ben doesn't die, he ends up getting a job at the Bugle with Jonah, and the two of them are friends and colleagues.
Oh, wow. I didn't see that coming.
Wait,
Okay.
but Peter also still works there.
And Peter got a job there because of nepotism.
I was just going to say, he's the Nepo baby.
Yeah. Which is
Yeah.
also probably why he feels, a little burdened.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
a little like he maybe owes something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
I
Because he does.
don't know if I like this Ben.
Oh, no? Oh.
I
What's he like? What are his attributes?
Well, that's the thing, right? Because what are Uncle Ben's attributes? He's a bumper sticker.
What are Uncle Ben's attributes?
Well, he's
dead.
Yeah. And he said one thing one time. That's it. And occasionally we'll do a throwback like he was a Mets fan. But outside of that, what is Uncle Ben?
You can make him anything.
Blank slate.
Right. Well, and that's why he's a completely new character. And in this case, it's like, well, this is an Uncle Ben who he's a widower. He grew up and raised Peter into a full-grown adult. He's the kind of guy who never needed to say, with great power comes great responsibility. So maybe he never did.
Right.
And his best friend is Jonah Jameson. So,
He knows how to pick him.
he's probably kind of a dick. He's also a newspaper man. So, he's got the kind of tough as nails attitude. He's a tough love kind of guy. And
Okay.
it's like,
So he's kind of stern.
yeah, he's stern. He's more of like a, stoic, old school paternal figure, as opposed to like Aunt May raising Peter, where she's like, oh no, Peter, don't go outside or you'll get a cold. Also, a stiff wind will break all the bones in this old sack of shit's body. Like, Aunt May was just going from hospital bed to hospital bed for the good 30 years of comics. Until eventually she died.
But remember, in the first Ultimate Spider-Man,
She is not.
She was not like
She is
that.
a firecracker. But so is Uncle Ben. They're aging hippies in the original Ultimate Universe. I don't dislike this Uncle Ben. It's not like that I think that he's a piece of shit. It's just he's stoic. He doesn't open up.
So he's stereotypical dad
He's a
for someone who's in their 30.
he is a perfect Peter Parker father.
Yeah.
You know, he creates the emotional neglect that makes Peter need a father figure. Peter is at the Bugle. He's talking to his two dads, and Jonah is like, "You're not ready to do this. Where's your tie?" And Jonah takes his own tie off and he ties it for Peter. I'm like, "You got me. I'm hooked."
I have never seen this before in my life, and I didn't realize I wanted it.
Yeah, I love it. I've seen paternal figure Jonah, and I get a kind of implied relationship that maybe Hickman is tying this to from the original universe. Like, why does Peter put up with Jonah's shit? Maybe because he don't have a dad, and Jonah's an authoritative paternal figure. I mean, it's rough, and it doesn't always hold water. But Jonah, for 80 years, moves from a direct character you can pin down to an archetype. But in any case, Jonah and Pete chat for a minute, and Pete's like, "How's Ben doing?" You know,
Because I don't know.
Right, because I wouldn't know. And Jonah's like, "Well, you know how your uncle and I always have like deep heart-to-heart conversations, so I definitely would know. But if you really want to know, I would suggest you ask him yourself." Which,
Yeah.
again, helpful
Fair.
advice.
Yeah.
You know? So Pete and Ben take a walk as they head towards the memorial. It's January, it's snowing, it's cold, their relationship is icy. And basically Pete's like, "So, how you holding up?" And Ben gives an analogy that is like really unemotional. In this reality, by the way, Pete's parents died when he was 15, which is when he should have become Spider-Man, and absolutely not when the Parkers died in the original continuity. But in the original continuity, his parents were S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and so they died much earlier than that. So in this reality, Peter Parker remembers his parents vividly up until 15, and then May and Ben raise him for another 15 years.
Oh, okay.
So he has 2 whole sets of parents that he remembers.
Right.
And he loses 3 out of 4 of them.
Well,
I mean, I kind of figure like after, 18, 19, he's just like, well, I'm kind of raising myself at this point.
I don't know. Parker is very family oriented. So
I'm not saying they're not family, but
no,
like,
but yeah,
yeah, no, I was raised by my parents, and then my uncle took over for a little
they
bit.
let me live in their house.
yeah.
So Pete and Ben go to the memorial. A blind priest named Matt Murdock gives the beginning speeches.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no Daredevil. Or maybe there is.
There's like hardly anybody.
Yeah, no.
Right.
No, they robbed him. He still got blinded, so I'm like, well,
That he still has magical power.
does he have magical powers? Because the thing is,
Or was he
people
blinded
forget
by something else?
he was blinded by radioactive waste or ooze, depending on if you go with the Turtles' origin. And so he has special abilities that also blinded him.
No.
Right.
Or did he get blinded from something else?
No, in this one, I was going into my dad's gym, and I was messing around one day, and someone like accidentally clocked me when they weren't looking.
Yeah,
I got blind.
detached my retinas. Yeah. I mean, we don't find out. There ain't no Ultimate Daredevil book, which is a crime, by the way. Because Kiketo, who draws this, drew the Zdarsky Daredevil run for the most part. And
Do you think that's
so
why
good-looking.
Hickman was also like, hey, Zdarsky, take it?
100%. Oh, yeah, no. Besides the fact that, like, Zdarsky has Spider-Man experience, Zdarsky was crushing it with Daredevil. And it is absolutely why Kiketo is drawing this. It's because Hickman was like, oh, yeah, that.
I like that.
I like that guy.
Cool.
I think we can assume since he's a priest, he is not Daredevil.
I don't know. There are some versions of Daredevil where he is a priest.
Oh, really?
And in almost every incarnation of Daredevil who makes it past 50, he becomes a priest.
Well, that I could see.
But, yeah.
He's a lawyer. You can practice law up until like what?
Oh, no, I
Forever.
I agree, but I think it's more like, no, Matt felt a calling to be a
Yeah,
lawyer. When he hits middle age or later, he finds another calling. I mean, he's also deeply Catholic, so like I get the call, but
Yeah, like I could see him like doing it as like, I've done a lot of bad stuff. I hurt a lot of people, and maybe I need to like
atone.
Yeah,
I can see that.
I don't know how, so I guess I'll become a priest.
So you don't know. I would love to see it though. I would love to be like, yeah, no, the maker missed this one. And maybe Matt was like, I don't know, there's no Fantastic Four, so I'm never inspired.
Yeah, plus Maker's like, Daredevil?
Yeah, right? Who? Please.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The blind guy dressed like the devil.
Well, you're not going to get them all.
Yeah, you know what? There's going to be a couple of stragglers.
And that one doesn't really matter.
You know what? If a guy in a red suit shows up on my balcony, I'll just unmake him.
Right.
I'll shoot him with an
Santa, no!
Who is an Omega level mutant, of course. Right. So I guess he had to go too.
Did he get unmade?
I guess so. There's got to be a Santa file. Please do an Ultimates holiday special where we go back and see how the Maker undoes Santa. I can't have people believing in a higher
world
power.
without Christmas.
A universe.
What a monster.
I really like where this is going.
Yeah, there's
a lot of possibility here.
Yeah, this is a good book.
What about like, okay, so the Kingpin still exists.
Yes, and he is a...
Is he still like massive and somehow like,
He's right here.
Yeah.
Howard?
Yes, he's big and he's tough.
He looks
and in
kind
fact,
of like a shark made into a human.
Yeah, that's the design.
Yeah.
Kingpin also has some modifications of his own.
Oh boy.
That have made him tougher than he used to be.
It's a pacemaker.
The stint. But I think he, because in the old continuity, it's like, no, my body's like 90% muscle. That's not fat. And it's like,
Right. Okay, sure.
But yeah, me too. And I feel like in this, they were like, we need to explain this a little better. So he has like, when you see him with his shirt off, he has like tattoos. But the tattoos aren't necessarily tattoos. They're more like visual indicators that like he's had augmentation made. So he's like even more powerful than he would be in the original universe.
I see.
But yeah, he is a kingmaker in the Maker's army. Like the Maker selected Wilson Fisk probably because he's like, well, the guy's amazing at managerial skills, and I need someone to delineate and delegate in the New York office. So yeah, Wilson Fisk is at the top of my list. But he is like part of the cabal. Although, incidentally, Wilson Fisk mentions that he's never met the Maker. So he's just that low on the totem pole.
Right. That makes sense. He
yeah.
should be.
Exactly.
He's just a mobster.
Right. I mean,
Why would the Maker
care?
sully himself to talk to?
Yeah, well,
someone
you
like that?
you can see he's got friends in low places. But at the memorial, Matt gives a speech about like forgiveness and love, and then Harry Osborne goes up, but he gets kind of like the antithesis of that, where he's like, we were stolen from.
Huh.
We had years with our family that were replaced with memories. F that. And I'm like, right. Hickman's a good writer. It's not enough that he also is a brilliant clockmaker or a good idea man. He also knows how to coax the written word into eliciting emotions. So Harry meets Ben and the Parkers for the first time at this event. And then...
Will they go to different schools?
Harry never went to Midtown High.
Oh.
Harry went to a private school.
Why did that change?
Because it's cleaner and quicker to do that in the movies and cartoons. Harry and Peter in the original universe met in college.
Oh, okay. Well, so did Peter go to a different college? I guess because he wasn't Spider-Man. I'm trying to figure out like why wouldn't
Harry
be different?
because Harry and Peter met through Norman giving Harry an apartment and Harry needing a roommate.
Okay.
Because that was one of the stipulations of getting the apartment for free.
So it's very specific to the state of Peter's life.
Yes. Peter also met Gwen through that friend group in college and never did. But did meet Mary Jane, but Mary Jane also lived next door to the Parkers. So there's more of an explanation for how Peter might have met Mary Jane, especially if Peter never went to Empire State University. I don't recall if it's ever established what university Peter went to, but I assume also with May and Ben working, maybe Peter got to go to a different or better school. I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe Peter had more options.
Lots of things could have been different about where he went.
And not all of them are relevant to the story of how he became Spider-Man again.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
He went to Rutgers.
That'd be dope.
He went to the Newark
Like,
School
all right,
of Business.
Scarlet Knights, way to go, Spider-Man. So,
like, isn't he a genius? Should he go to like Princeton or something?
the science background is never brought up.
Oh.
So
maybe his parents were alive till he was 15. He didn't need to overachieve and become a scientist.
that's very true. But he also has absolutely zero friends.
Oh.
So, you know.
Well, he's got a family.
Well, I
He doesn't
mean,
need
print
friends.
media
Well,
is
yeah,
dead.
but like, what did he do before that?
Well, he had friends, and he lost them all when he had kids.
Oh, that's how it works. That's true. Yeah. I mean, how many people realistically are still friends with the people you knew when you were like 15? There's a big board meeting at the Bugle after the memorial. So Pete and Ben go. Jonah's already at the board meeting, and Pete and Ben happen upon the board meeting when Jonah is screaming at them and yells, "I quit." And then he leaves.
Ooh.
Jameson quits the Bugle.
Yes.
What?
Who's in charge?
Wilson Fisk.
Wilson
Oh
Fisk
my
owns
God.
the Bugle?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Which, I have to admit, is a stolen idea from DC versus Marvel. No, I'm kidding. I mean, it is, but actually, Wilson Fisk buys the Daily Planet.
That's...
But the word daily's in it.
Yeah, he buys a newspaper that
Yeah.
belongs to a red and blue clad superhero. So Ben then goes in and he's like, "So, what'd I miss?" And Robbie Robertson's there, of course, and he's explaining that like, you know, our benefactor / owner is quashing stories and has this idea. Look, we're a mob paper basically, and Jonah didn't like that. And
Good for
play
you,
ball.
Jonah.
yeah. And so we need to play ball and we get to keep our jobs. And Ben's like, all right.
This is really interesting seeing like what the Bugle and what Jonah's like in a world without Spider-Man.
Yeah. He didn't have anything to point at and hate.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then Jonah's in the elevator with the box of all the stuff and Ben joins him. And he's like, so what are we going to do now? Ben and Jonah out of the paper. Peter, not fired. Still works for the Daily Bugle.
I assumed that Ben and Jonah were both
administrative.
high up.
Yeah. Oh, no. Ben and Jonah were like,
They were
Yeah, like
chiefs.
editors.
They
Yeah.
were in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were specifically investigating the terror attack.
yes.
Stark terror attack.
And they were like,
too close.
They were getting too close. That's right. That's exactly what it was.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's cute.
I know. And then there's an entire multi-saga subplot of Ben and Jonah starting their own newspaper. And the book is a business story.
Interesting.
That's the B plot, is watch these two old men make a business together.
Okay.
And you know what? People are freaking out about it. They're like, I love Spider-Man! And I'm like, okay, I have to say something here. This is what makes Spider-Man work, is the supporting cast. You are invested in them and their struggles if you write them well and you make me care. You don't need to turn them into a goblin.
But I could.
Yeah.
You could. You always.
I
here's the
reserve
thing.
the right
You
to
al-
make anyone into a goblin at any
or
time.
symbiote, but like, and you always could. The thing is, though, you always could do that. So let's put that on the shelf. Instead, I want to challenge you and have you just write a good story featuring characters I like and have them only be human beings and without any bombs or codexes.
This is gonna be hard.
Codices. In any case,
I don't know.
It's unbelievable how quickly they break the goblin glass or the symbiote glass. Right now, as of the taping of this episode, Mary Jane is Venom. Shoot me.
Wait.
Mary Jane in
Okay.
the main
In the real
universe
Yeah.
is Venom.
That's horrible. That's
Speaking
the
of
worst.
wrong timelines,
Because, well, it's ironic because of how much she hates Venom.
oh, but that doesn't come up because Al Ewing hasn't never read that.
What? Why does it happen?
Because I don't care.
But now all the fan people can watch Spider-Man and Venom
And be like,
have sex.
yeah, they can. Except that Mary Jane is in a throuple with Venom and Paul. You know.
No, I don't.
Oh wait, we never talked about Paul.
No.
Well, let's not start today.
We can't.
Because we
No.
didn't talk
We
about
can't
all
get into
this.
that. We can't. We have to finish this one volume. So Kingpin and Bullseye. Oh right, that's Bullseye, the guy with one eye. Yeah. Bullseye is an enhanced character who is sent by the Cabal as Fisk's gopher
Okay.
and bodyguards.
So technology is allowed to advance,
Yeah.
but superpowered people can't if it's genetic.
Well, no, superpowered people can't advance because I, the maker, don't want them to mess up my plans.
Yeah, so you just go
Because I'm essentially evil Morty and I just want to be left alone and go to another reality.
Okay. So he's missing an eye.
Bullseye. That's it.
It's something to do with eyes.
He actually was so bad at darts, he hit himself in the eye.
Right.
Took it out.
It's ironic because he's really good at aiming, but he shouldn't be because he only has one eye.
The point of him is, I don't know, well, Daredevil's using Kingpin, so Spider-Man will use Bullseye. And also Kingpin. Like, I don't know. I think it's just like, Bullseye is a character that no one has any plan for. There's no Daredevil book, so let's make Bullseye a generic cookie-cutter assassin character who is excellent at what he does and still is, his precision is off the charts.
Yeah.
But also, there's like 7 Bullseyes of varying degrees of costumes and.
Okay. It's like a core, the Bullseye core.
It's more like they're foot soldiers. Like
That's the enhancement I give to you. I give you very good aim.
Well,
Give
yeah.
the Bullseye enhancement.
Well, it's like
the Bullseye cocktail.
I have there. If I need an assassin bodyguard, just make him Bullseye because Bullseye is,
Anyone can be a
unstoppable.
Bullseye.
Yeah. And when that Bullseye dies, I make another Bullseye.
Yes.
That's Bullseye 2 and Bullseye 3.
I don't even
Like
need
if
to
you
name
had
them.
a dog and you just kept naming the successor dogs after
Right.
the original.
After the original, though, they have to change the bowl. It just says the same name of the dog.
a dog or a robot.
Right. Well, and what you'll find out is actually they've infused enhancements within the body of this Bullseye.
Okay.
And you have to assume that that's the case for all Bullseyes.
Sure.
But yeah, like he has an endoskeleton. They opened him up and like added shit to him. Not unlike Wolverine, but
Yeah.
also nothing like Wolverine.
Yeah, it's just metal for Wolverine. This is actually like
There's like shit in
cybernetics.
there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Bullseyes aren't born; they're made.
Yeah. Maker's like, I don't know how the fuck that guy works. I mean, I know what he does, and I can
I can't be
science
bothered
that.
to learn how Bullseye became Bullseye. Let me just make a machine. That
Yeah,
does
well, because Bullseye didn't get bit by like a radioactive fucking.
Right, it's not
Sniper
clear.
rifle.
There wasn't like a clear defining moment.
No,
when he achieved
where we
the Bullseye
where we
abilities.
realized, oh my god, I think Bullseye actually might be an enhanced individual. Like it went from like Bullseye just being like kind of scary and sociopathic to like I think he's also like superhuman.
Yeah. He can.
Yeah.
Well, he must be able to see the future. Otherwise, how could he bounce things off things
or
and
whatever?
perfectly-
Yeah. I honestly like I would love.
He's actually just great at trick shots.
yeah.
He practices a lot.
He just works on the boardwalk. He's just an old carny. He is, for me, the Marvel Joker. He is sadistic and unstoppable, and he's a force of nature, and he
Right.
doesn't have any moral code, and he just does things for the lulz.
And he'll
Right.
kill it like the drop of a hat.
Exactly. And they're both creatively sadistic. And so I kind of love that about those two. The thing is, though, what you want to see is Green Goblin and Joker.
Right.
That's the pairing. Not just because of the color schemes, but also because of their, their complements and their heroic analogs.
Well, you got the Green Goblin has the theatricality
Exactly.
that Bullseye doesn't.
Yeah, you
have
get the
as much.
fun of the duality of Green Goblin, whereas there is none with Joker. And anyway, so Bullseye and Fisk get into a car, and then it explodes, and you see that the explosion was triggered by the Green Goblin.
Whoa.
And he looks like the 2002 movie Green Goblin, but with a mouth covering, so you can't guess who this Green Goblin is. If you took 2 seconds, you might be able to. But in any case, he looks kind of like an Iron Man, but green.
Is it Harry?
Yeah. So he flies away, and we see Jonah and Ben hatch their scheme to make a newspaper. They then bump into Peter, who's like, hey, I didn't get fired somehow. Even though the nepotism clearly got me the job in the first place,
Right.
but it did not cost me my job. So,
Yeah, I just walked around doing this all day, and they just
and they just let me stay. You know it doesn't work, right, Peter? Like, they know you exist.
Something about Fisk was just like, I want to keep this guy close to me.
I don't know why. Something
Keep
about
my
it.
finger on it, but like, gotta keep my eye on
lose
him.
Yeah.
track of him. Yeah.
Ironically, Peter going like this is basically like his whole strategy his entire effing life. He's just being like, oh, jeez, I just hope no one notices me. Except for that bombshell redhead over there.
And I don't know why she could
Would
be
ever-
fucked to care about me
I-
in this state.
And that's like the only problem I have with this is that like Peter is a supporting character in his own book, and he is Peter, but he never really, until like issue 14, displays why Mary Jane loves him.
Yeah.
One of my issues with like the overwhelming reception of this book was how quickly people were willing to accept it wholesale with very little information. And also with a lot of information that they were choosing to ignore. Like, this is kind of the same universe. It's the 616 universe, but like messed up.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, I know that's Peter, but he has virtually no experiences that make him Peter. And being Peter Parker isn't like a genetic trait. You don't just like marry and Richard's DNA together and you make a good man. Like, he has to go through suffering and trials and life to be this person that you love and idolize. That ain't this guy.
Yeah,
but he's not a piece of shit.
But both Peters were raised by Peter's parents for some period
And-
in early formative years.
Right, and Ben and May.
And then Ben and May.
So you do get that.
And that's part of what makes a person what they are,
That's so
right?
true, yes.
So we only pick up his story
Well,
in the original timeline when he's a teenager.
The
right?
reality is, Richard and Mary have more influence on this Peter than they ever did.
Yeah.
They got 15 years
Yeah,
of
that's a
raising
lot
Peter as
more.
opposed to May and Ben raising him for 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was he like a toddler when his
Yeah.
parents died?
He was a baby.
Oh, he was a baby. He
was an infant
Okay, so
when
he
they
actually
died.
didn't know them at all.
No, he never knew them.
Interesting. Okay.
Here's the thing. People are willing to go beyond the shadow of a doubt for this because it's Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yeah.
The book's not going to get canceled just because I haven't seen him be Peter Parker that I know yet.
Nope. And also, people are desperate. Like, this is the best time to launch this book because the Amazing Spider-Man book had been so bad. People were just like, give me anything else.
How about
And they
this
were like, "I'm in."
character where, like, it's going to get to Peter. but
Okay,
you're gonna just
I'm
start-
in.
Okay, I didn't.
Great.
Are you sure you don't want to?
Mary Jane's in it, right?
Yes.
Sold. That's it. That's all it takes. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but like, don't just jump in. You be careful. And it isn't until this volume that exactly what I thought was going to happen happens. And it's not bad. It's good storytelling. And I'll even share it. Yeah, you know what?
I kind of don't want to know.
I'll hang on to it. I'll hang on to it. Let's just say every issue of this book, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So Pete talks to Ben alone for a minute, and he's like, how do you do it? How do you just drop everything and start an entire new life at this point in your life? Like, you just left
You're
your job.
so old.
It's not,
What are you even gonna do?
no, it's just more like, how do you find the courage, the balls, the gumption? Like, what, you're not
Why aren't you panicking?
He doesn't say, like, you're not special, but it's like, what makes you think you're so special that you can, like, just throw everything you've done for the last, like, 25 years away and do this and do something else?
Because they're covering up how my wife died.
Well, yeah, I mean, because
Yeah, I'm driven.
Yeah, because I'm grief-stricken and I'm actually just reacting, but I'm going to couch it in a platitude because I'm Uncle Ben, and it's actually no, it's like I have a story history. I have no wife or children to provide for. I can get away with throwing away my 401k or whatever because A, I have a successful son who will take care of me, and B, I don't have anyone to depend on me. I can just fuck around, and why shouldn't I? And clearly this is just Peter trying to gauge what to do with the orb that Iron Lad gave him, because he's like, Peter is like, I have been told that I'm special. I have felt like I am special and destined for greater things, like everyone born in the 80s was told. And
It's your fault, movies.
it's your fault, everyone. I've had a black cloud over my head for like my entire life. And I've always felt that I was destined for greater things. And I've been told that I am, but I have to choose it. And on paper, I got a good life. I got a good thing going that I shouldn't fuck up. But I'm still compelled
I still have the urge.
to make a decision, to make a big, drastic decision. And it could ruin everything because I'm so risk avoidant
Right.
that I don't want to lose.
Well, I got a lot to lose.
I got a lot to lose. And so
I mean, have you seen his house? It's quite nice.
Yes.
He's doing very well.
now
and
MJ
whatever-
also, she used to be
that's true, yeah.
she used to work for a public relations firm.
Right.
But she left too. She quit and started her own company.
Oh.
So everyone around Peter is the master of their own destiny, except for him. So finally he sits down on the couch, has a glass of wine with his wife, and he's like, hey, I have the option of like making a change, but I don't know if I should do it. And she's like, well, would it affect our relationship? And he's like, no, never. Like, it will never change how you and I are. It's just for me.
That is a lie.
Well, I mean, yes, it would, but also, like, it's not like I'm looking to get divorced.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like,
I will still be with you.
yeah, until
Could
you die.
Maybe be a little more specific
I
about this
cannot.
change.
I cannot. I will not. I will be very vague about it.
Okay, so if I tell you it's okay, it's not really like I gave you permission.
And that's my big problem with a lot of this book.
like we didn't really talk about it,
no,
did we?
No. We were using a lot of like metaphor and references, and I didn't really have the context for the references you were making.
Right. When I said that was cool,
Like, I thought you were gonna like start a company or like, you know, maybe start getting into trains.
I thought maybe you would just shave your beard.
maybe start a YouTube channel.
Yeah, you were gonna like start reviewing fast food or something. But you changed your entire body chemistry and put our family against death by the orchestrator of our entire destinies.
I'm a little pissed.
She
No,
isn't.
we had a conversation.
No, well,
and
you
told
said
me
it
that
was
I should
okay.
follow my destiny or whatever.
Right?
I don't remember
Yeah, I don't
the
really
words, but
remember.
I got a green light. That's all I know.
I got a green light. She's like, that is not a green light. You thought that was a green light? That is a problem. So anyway, what you're supposed to get out of this is that she is supportive and understanding, and that she's excited for him to like, you know, make a change.
Right.
And but she's basically like, look, you're not getting you don't want to get divorced, and he's like, she doesn't say that, but she's like, well, will anything between us change? And he's like, no. And she goes, well, then go get him, Tiger. Again, so I was like, oh yes, that's twice now. You got me with Jonah, and you got me with Mary Jane. We're ready to go. I don't give a shit about those Rugrats. Moving on. So. She kisses him on the head. She leaves him alone. He gets the orb. We see the Iron Lad speech. He goes up to the roof. He holds the orb in his hand. The orb itself like dematerializes, and then you see the vial of spider. He looks at it and he says, I want it. Like, it's the first time in this guy's life you could tell. He said, I want something for me. And it's okay to say that, is what this book is saying.
Right.
And he's like, I want it. So he puts the spider on his hand, the spider bites him, and then the orb...
And then he dies.
And then he dies. Because it's all a practical joke. And the
It's all
maker
part
was
of the
just-
maker's plan.
He's like,
Iron
yes,
Lad's part of it.
I swapped out the spiders. That's just a reckless...
Switch the spider.
You think I was gonna let you become Spider-Man?
You know how popular he is?
You know I'm like a god. I control everything.
Exactly. You're not. You can just stretch.
I got
You're-
contingencies
At the end of the
upon
day,
contingencies.
Yeah, but my brain is so friggin' big. I
and
can
only
see all
because only when you
possibilities.
stretch it. So anyway, he gets to be Spider-Man, and the orb is actually not just a cool device. It turns into his suit,
Oh, you're gonna want this suit too.
and the suit is fully black with Spider-Man eyes.
Oh shit.
That's it.
Cool.
Blank slate.
Cool, no symbiote.
Oh no.
What?
So, and just like the Ultimate Universe, it is synthetic and it is not a fucking alien.
Oh, okay.
Next month, every issue is 1 month later.
Oh.
It
Okay.
essentially progresses in real time, with the exception of 2 issues. One issue ends at the end of the month, and the next issue starts at the beginning of the next month. So only a day has passed between those 2 issues.
Okay.
They're like, oh, well, nice try. But yeah, every issue is 1 month later. So Pete's swinging around. Again, I'm like, oh, man, like, I appreciate it, but also, like, there's all these little levels, like these things. Like, one of the main things that idiots like me were complaining about when they made the organic webbing in the movies, I was like, but a part of his personality is he built those web shooters himself as a child in his bedroom. Like, he made those things. In this, the suit does it.
Right,
Like
'cause,
the symbiote.
How would this Peter Parker make those webbings?
Right, and I'm like, yeah, but like he needs to though. He can't constantly call Iron Lad for help. Like it doesn't make him an autonomous character. Never mind, we never get into it. So he's swinging around the city. He's stopping traffic accidents. Like he's just doing his
that's
job.
Are there supervillains yet? Well, we know Green Goblin's there.
Well, Green Goblin is there, and he's trying to kill Wilson Fisk. Is that so bad?
Whoa, he's not a super villain.
Right. He's a vigilante.
Exactly, and he has a power suit.
Yeah. And nothing about that suit says Goblin, by the way.
So
So-
does he intentionally leave Green Goblin alone,
He's-
hoping that
he
he'll
hasn't
kill
met the Green
Wilson?
Goblin.
Okay.
No. He doesn't know that Wilson Fisk is like that bad.
Okay.
He knows that he's a piece of shit, though.
Yeah.
So then he's swinging around. He sees this dude in what is essentially an Ultimate Shocker uniform. And he's got his big vibro gauntlets at a bank. And so Pete swings in. He's just like, hey.
It looks like he's trying to break into this bank.
Right. And he's like, ah! And he's like, listen, I kind of got this new thing going, and I think the thing I'm supposed to do is stop people like you. So, like, knock it off. And the guy's like, you know what? This is just the moment I needed to, like, kind of shake me out of this. Like, it was a bad decision, and I'm sorry that I did this. He's like, wow, really? And he's like, no.
Yep.
So he blasts him, and then
Whoops.
Pete ends up in a dumpster, and he's like, ugh. So
That was stupid.
he goes home, defeated,
Yeah.
goes into his freezer, steals some ice cream, and he's like, all right. Sits down on the couch. The suit moves away from his mouth and just eating ice cream alone in the.
Oh, okay. So the suit's like intelligent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They call it Picotech, which is technically Stark Tech.
It's not nanotech.
No,
it's
Pico.
Pico. So
Bigger,
it's
better.
different.
Yeah, smaller. So Pete's eating the ice cream on the couch, just like, "Mom." And then he looks over, and his daughter is there, and she's like, what? Like Cindy Lou Who. She's like, what? And he's like, oh. And she's like, gearing up for a big scream. And he's like, no, no. So he grabs her, and he's like, no. And the suit recedes back, and he's like, it's daddy, it's daddy.
It'd be great if he just like shoved ice cream around.
Eat this. The Daily Bugle is reporting on this vigilante swinging around, stopping car crashes and stuff like that.
And then Jonah reapplies
Falling
for a
dumpsters.
job.
Who's this guy? No, but that's the fun part. Is like the Daily Bugle is besmirching Spider-Man. A, they don't call him Spider-Man, and B, what is he doing? But also, they're doing it to obfuscate from the Fisk attacks.
Right.
The Green Goblin's trying to kill Fisk. They're like, bury that.
Don't worry about
Robbie's
that.
like, that's the story. And they're like, that is not a story. If you want to stay alive, that ain't going to be the story. And that's why
Right.
you're in charge now, by the way. So that's what's happening. We got this duality. And so in the paper, they're reading about it. And like, Richard is Peter's son. And he's like, it's fake. It's all fake. Propaganda. And May is like, he scares me. I don't like him. To see like pictures of him. And so May then sees this shadow man who's from the news who frightens her, and she immediately
On her couch.
On her couch, but then realizes it's daddy, and he's like, hey, listen, I will give you some more ice cream if you be quiet and keep this, like, you know what? Let's just hang on to this for now. Like, your daddy's a superhero. He could do crazy
play a
things.
game.
Let's play a game where you don't tell your mommy or your brother anything about this, and you will get double ice cream.
That is problematic.
And I was like, the exact same reaction. That was this moment, because
that.
I thought, because we kept seeing like moments like paid off that were in a different sequence of events, like Peter knowing that Iron Lad had, like we see Peter in the stage of thinking about being Spider-Man before we actually see Iron Lad give Spider-Man the option of being Spider-Man. And I assumed that like the first person that Peter told about this was Mary Jane, that like Mary Jane saw the hologram like before all that, and that they were talking euphemistically for our benefit. But no, he is
straight up
100%
no.
lying to his wife.
Yep.
And I'm like, no!
Don't make
Don't-
him be an asshole.
Don't do that! Why would you do that? Why would you think it's sustainable to do that? That's horrible.
Right.
And then
So
you're
he's an idiot.
And you're gonna rope your daughter in.
Yep.
Hey, you're gonna trust her to you're gonna
that secret.
You're gonna trust her to keep that secret, and you're also gonna ask her to lie to her family, and to keep your secret. That's horrible.
Not a good idea.
That's a problem.
It's a big problem.
That's a
But
Peter
it's
Parker
good writing.
problem. It is
Yeah.
good writing because I'm invested. I'm like, nah, stop being so stupid. You understand how fragile this all is?
You're Peter Parker. This is all gonna come crashing down.
Do you see this book? This book over here?
Yeah, right?
This is how it could go.
It could go real bad.
Get smart.
If you're around for another 70 years, this could really go crap. So Kingpin gets a visit from Captain Britain, who's a member of the Cabal from Invasion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, listen, oi prick, you need to keep your shit together because you're not even a member of the elite group of Marvel bad guys. All right?
Right.
You-
Stop trying to get blown up by
You're like a second-rate Daredevil character.
You're underling.
As far
you
as
get
we're concerned.
a city. It's a nice city.
Yeah,
don't get me
big.
wrong. But it ain't no country.
Right, and you don't have the protection of the Maker anymore. Like, we're making the shots for the next 2 years. So Pete continues to be Spider-Man, or whatever, bumps into the Shocker again, and he's like, hey, it's you piece of shit. I'm gonna kick your ass. And Shocker's like, I'm sorry, man, listen, like, I've got a sick daughter at home, and I'm just trying to get, like, my life together. And he's like,
You're gonna shock me again, aren't you?
do you? And he's like, so he blasts him across the way, and then we see the Green Goblin. And the Green Goblin seems to be keeping tabs on all of this. Shocker and this, black silhouette guy. Pete comes home, and his daughter has drawn a spider using red and blue for him. And they put it on the fridge for him for when he got home from his late day at the office. I drew a picture of a spider. That's it. It wasn't for your plan.
Right.
She goes, I drew a picture of a spider. Of your spider. I hope you like it. You're the best. Love, May. And as you could see from the covers and stuff, this is the logo that he will use.
He's like, dumb kid, she doesn't even know her colors. This is black.
So, MJ and Richard are going out for the day, and they're like, what is going on with Peter and May? They seem like they're holding a secret. And he's like, nope, just the two of us hanging out. So they leave, and then May and Pete go up to the roof, and Pete forces the suit to change into different iterations of his costume. He's like, well, we're gonna go with your spider, so we're gonna put that on the chest, and then we see like a version of the symbiote suit, more or less from Spider-Man 3, where it's got the webs and also the big logo. And she's like, it's too scary. I don't like it. It's big and black. It's scary. No. So he's like, okay, all right. So then he approximates Ben Reilly's Scarlet Spider suit with the hoodie and stuff. And he's like, how about this? Pretty cool. She's like, no, it is not cool. It is old and lame. That's what that looks like.
Old and busted.
That looks like it's from the 90s. And I'm like, nice reference.
You don't even know!
You wouldn't know, you idiot. You wouldn't even know what the 2010s are, honey. He turns into a version of the Iron Spider suit, and then just like a blue and black suit, and then he makes the red and blue suit. And she's like, I like that one. And he's like, okay, now I'm going to dangerously take you on a web-slinging adventure. And just pops her on his back, and then swings across the city. Powerful image, gorgeously rendered by Kiketo. I love it. I also recognize, as an adult man, I'm like, that is so dangerous. I would never do that. But also, you know what? She's part of my secret. She's going to be part of this.
No, here's the thing.
You web her to it.
She's webbed on.
Yeah, she's good.
Probably.
She's not going anywhere. She's got goggles on.
Oh yeah, those goggles will protect her.
Yeah. Well, it's really windy up here.
Well, she wants to be able to see.
Exactly.
You don't want to
not
web
gonna-
swing blind.
Hell no. So, meanwhile, in the real story, these two geriatric men bought a residence for their business.
Sweet.
They got a big, cool place. A place that, me eyeing up different locations for my studio is like, this is awesome. That is a great location. Are you kidding me? And meanwhile, they're all like, this is a dump. I hate this. Ben's like, it cost exactly the budget that you allocated, man. That's what it is. Pete shows up. He's got a housewarming present for them, or a business warming present for them that Mary Jane makes him bring. He doesn't think to bring it. She makes him bring it. He's like, here, Mary Jane.
Sounds about right.
Says, this is brighten up the
I'm
place.
supposed to bring you a thing. It's a plan.
Just bring a thing. Here you go.
Here's the thing you have to take care of.
Here's a chore. It's a cactus, so it's okay. I know, it's a bonsai tree.
It's a bonsai
And it's a bonsai
tree.
tree, so it was expensive.
Yeah.
So
It looks expensive.
And they have to maintain it.
So Pete sees on the board.
They got a board with yarn and stuff.
Yep, because Hickman's subletting from them. And so Ben and Jonah are working on the Supers case.
Right.
They heard about this guy, but also there's this green dude who's trying to kill Fisk. And what's that all about?
Right,
So
but
they're-
we're at the terrorist attack.
And so they're tracking their locations and they're tracking their activities. And Pete's like, what's this all about? And they're like, I don't think we should tell you. Because you still work for the Bugle.
Yeah, you don't work for us.
And
You
you
work
should
for a
work for us.
competitor.
Yeah.
He's like, can you actually pay me here?
Right? He's like, yeah, I want to work with you guys. Like, I want to work here, but I need money. And, maybe we could figure something out where, like, I could help out.
Is he going to take
no.
pictures and send them to them?
Right? No, that never happens. In the history of the book, that never happens. I know. I love it. It's so great. In this case, he's like, I'm just going to watch Fisk and see what happens, finding out about the Green Goblin guy, which the news is calling him the Green Goblin. But he's like, I'll just go on a stakeout, waiting for
Waiting
Fisk
to
to do
see-
something and waiting for something to happen. And he's
Waiting
like,
for some crime to go down. Or
right,
something.
and it's like, this is what a stakeout is. It's boring and monotonous, and nothing really happens.
And also, he could be doing, like, other solvable crimes, but he's not doing that.
Right? Well, he's not doing it through that window.
He's
so
letting
I don't
people
know.
die all over the city while he just watches and waits for Fisk.
What a jerk.
Yep. So as he's about to leave, then the Green Goblin attacks.
Sweet.
Green Goblin sees him starting to, like, get up and stretch. He's like, oh, finally, this guy's getting out of here.
Okay, good.
I can finally
Boom.
attack.
Huh! So Green Goblin is under attack by Bullseye.
Oh.
So Bullseye's about to do the coup de grace on Green Goblin when Spider-Man shows up, and he's like, hey, I'm here too. And so then there's a three-way fight.
I'm
And
part of it now.
now I'm in here. I am technically the star of this book.
Now, which one of you is the bad guy?
Right. Well, he's like, well, you
little
were trying to
unclear.
kill him, and you were not seemingly trying to die. So
And
I
you're
guess I'll
trying to take down Fist, so I guess you're the good
you
guy?
Pull up a car.
right? But it belonged to a bad guy, so you know.
Yeah.
So they have a big fight, and Bullseye, brings a crane down on Spider-Man, and then Green Goblin takes out Bullseye, and then, I'm sorry. Bullseye drops like a whole bunch of shit on Spider-Man, knocks him out, and then Green Goblin gets the upper hand on Bullseye, but then Bullseye tries to take down Green Goblin. It's just a back and forth. It's just a big, awesome fight, spectacularly rendered by Kaketto. Check it out. But ultimately, Spider-Man takes out Bullseye because, unlike the Green Goblin, Spider-Man actually has like natural augmentation. Like it's not
Right,
just
you
a
can't
power
just
suit.
drop shit on him. He'll
He'll be strong
just
and
get
move
up
out of the
and-
way,
yeah.
or exactly. So he lays out Bullseye, and then Gobby's glider swoops in, picks up Bullseye, and takes him away.
What?
And Spider-Man's like, "Hey, where's he going?" And he's like, "Oh, I'll take care of it." And he's like, "I don't know if I like that. What does that mean?" And then
He's still alive.
right, and then Pete's suit goes.
For now.
Yeah. So Pete's suit goes pairing mode enabled, and he's like, "Wait, what?" And then it's like suit deactivated. He's like, "What? No!"
What?
His suit just starts peeling off, revealing his face. And the Goblin has connected to his suit and turned it off.
Oh no.
And
Goblin
then
works for Iron Lad?
no, Goblin pops his helmet off, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Harry Osborne. You want to go get a drink and
Wait.
share notes?" And Pete's like, "Yeah, that's probably a good idea." What happened was, after Stain Stark, the company that Iron Lad owned, after Iron Lad was labeled a terrorist, his company was dissolved and sent to Oscorp. Norman Osborn is dead. Harry Osborn inherited it. Harry Osborn now de facto owns Stain Stark and now has access to all of his stuff. What he gets is all of the Iron Man suits. He makes one into a Green Goblin-y kind of suit, and also has access to all of the files that Iron Lad had, which include the secret files about the fact that like the Maker mucked with all of their origins. And actually, he has all the like videotapes of Iron Lad contacting all these different heroes. And in fact,
Oh my god.
the Green Goblin's been like tailing some of these characters and ends up finding the original Shocker, Herman, who is dead. Like, Maker took shit from everybody. And Iron Lad doesn't know the stats on all their Marvel trading cards. So he's just like, okay, I saw the Shocker file. You're the guy who plays the Shocker. Here's your gauntlets. But that guy died, and someone else ended up taking those things and becoming the Shocker instead. But like, yeah, Gobby's like, this is, I guess, how things were supposed to be?
Right. I'm trying to put things back together.
Yeah. Well, like,
'Cause
I'm
no one else
involved.
can.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I'm aware that, like, there's a secret cabal that runs the world, and there's no one to protect us. So I guess it has to be, like, me or something?
Harry's essentially a conspiracy theorist.
Exactly.
But like
he
he has
Right.
files.
Yeah.
But he can back it up.
Right. So now Peter and Harry are best friends
Okay.
because they both have horrible secrets that they keep for each other. Except they don't. So the next issue is entirely a dinner date
Okay.
between Harry and his wife and Pete and MJ, where they have to interact with each other and they have to become friends now. And so Mary Jane's like, this is weird and I don't know why we're doing this, but okay. And Pete's like, yeah, just roll with it.
How do you know this guy?
Oh, from work.
Yeah.
And so they end up having dinner and we meet Harry's wife, Gwen Stacy.
Yep.
Right.
Of course.
This Gwen Stacy is a powerful executive and a tough as nails broad who take no shit. Gwen also has a crazy, insane backstory that we will not get into now if we're going to make this an ongoing thing. So let's
Okay.
just say that she's a badass
Okay.
and kind of scary. And,
Super spy.
She likes to eat food a lot. It's what I'm seeing.
well, just in this dinner scene,
Well, they're all eating food.
we're all eating.
Yeah, but she has a lot of scenes where she's like,
Oh, Mary Jane's licking her thumb.
Well, why not? I'm not going to argue with that.
They're a power couple.
it'd be hilarious if
Slow
Harry
down.
was just like, wait, I'm sorry, you have kids?
Right? Why?
This is really irresponsible. And Mary Jane's like, what do you mean irresponsible? No reason.
Nothing.
Tell her.
Oh my god.
That actually ends up happening. Gwen and MJ go to the bathroom together, because of course they do. And Pete and Harry are chatting. He's like, you didn't tell your wife. And Pete's like, well, you did? He's like, yeah, I tell my wife everything. What are you, stupid?
Wait, did you tell your wife I'm Spider-Man?
No, I don't. Well, no, that I didn't tell her.
Oh, okay. Well, you
maybe-
said you tell her everything.
Yeah, he definitely told her. There's no way she doesn't know. But also, it's like,
And Gwen's just like, so what's it like dating a superhero? What?
I crap my pants. Something like that happens. Honey, we gotta get out of here. Hey, it was great meeting you, Gwen. Harry, I'll see you later. Goodbye. Yeah, how much? $1,000? Yeah, that seems about right. Bye. The whole issue is just watching adults have interactions about adult things.
Right, just having a conversation.
Yep. They also reveal that because Mary Jane is like an idea person and runs her own like PR firm, that she came up with the name for the Ben and Jonah business. It's called The Paper, which Jonah hates.
That's terrible.
I like it. Jonah hates it because they're a online news organization. And Ben is like, it's supposed to be like meta and ironic. And he's like, well, I hate it.
I still hate it.
Yeah. It should be called Frontline. Meanwhile, Ben and Jonah are watching the kids. And this is where I was like, oh no. Because I'm always like, well, Hickman is always thinking fourth dimensionally.
Yeah.
So like he's doing, because May does not like Jonah.
Okay.
Like Jonah and Ben come into a room and they're like, hey, good night. And she's like, when is he leaving? She does not trust or
Why?
like Jonah.
Because she's seen a picture of Adolf Hitler before.
Oh, that's fair. But Richard likes Jonah
Okay.
and has like a connection with him later on. And I'm like, I don't like that. I don't know why I don't like that.
Yeah, that worries me.
Yeah.
What is that? What's happening?
I don't like that Richard is seeking out Jonah for like patriarchal advice and guidance.
Jonah secretly his dad?
No.
Did
No,
MJ have an affair with Jonah?
No. There's no way that happened. But also, I'm like, I don't like what the implication. Like, you know, May is like pure and fun and happy and light, and Richard is a teenager, and so he's just like deeply cynical and analytical, and you know, it's just like it doesn't take much. I'm a little like, oh no, is Richard gonna turn into an incel or something? I was
Is he gonna like hate Spider-Man?
right, like, well, Jonah doesn't hate Spider-Man because he didn't work for the Daily Bugle, but like, also, I don't know. It's just like but it's because there's baggage, and it's like the same reason why people are like, this is the greatest comic book in the world because I love Spider-Man from like 50 years ago. I'm like, I've been reading Spider-Man for so long. I'm like, oh no, what does that mean?
What are you setting up?
What are you doing? What are you implying?
Because I know you, Hickman.
Yeah, I know you, and I know you know about this. And also, because you didn't pass the baton to someone else, you're going to own this wholesale. So you're setting things up. What is it? Anyway, but I'm sure it's just undue stress for no good reason. So, anyway, MJ and Gwen have
He's like, I'm just going to trail you on. I'm going to dangle this little string in front of you the entire time.
He's like, we kind of look similar. I'm fucking with you.
And it's never going to happen, but I'm always going to make you think it is.
Yeah. I'd appreciate that. I would appreciate that level of dedication from Don Hickman.
Jonathan Anxiety Hickman.
As long as that ComicPop guy's reading, I'm gonna get him. But I also love the interaction between Mary Jane and Gwen because like you could feel that they are not friends. Not that there is like an animosity or a deep competition between them, but just like
we would not
we
get
would not be
along.
friends.
We wouldn't be here if not for our husbands.
for these men who are here.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that in the original continuity, Mary Jane and Gwen were friends. Kind of. And they were together because of Peter. Because both of them wanted to be with him. And it became kind of like a Betty and Veronica situation.
Right.
Which is what anyone who is in charge of Spider-Man right now thinks is a great idea.
Right.
So Pete and Harry have a little back and forth, and essentially Harry says to Peter that he has great power, with great power comes great responsibility.
And you need to tell your family about what you're doing.
You gotta tell her. She's gonna find out. She's gonna be pissed. So you better tell her now.
I'm sorry, you told your daughter? Before your wife.
I mean,
You're an idiot.
She kind of caught me.
Well, yeah, and he does. He says, like, she caught me. And he's
Yeah.
like, well, okay.
Well, then you wake your wife up and you'd be like, hey,
hey,
I
everybody.
have to tell you something.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So
Because she knows, so everyone's going to know.
Exactly. Her school's gonna know.
well, also, your 5-year-old caught you, and you think your wife will never catch you? What sense does that make?
My frustration is your 5-year-old caught you, and you think your wife doesn't already know.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yep. She's just stewing in it.
she's just
She's
mad.
just how long?
She's
How
not-
long is he gonna take to tell me?
Yeah, she found the ball and saw the hologram.
She was on the roof watching him.
She's like, son of a bitch.
I thought he was secretly smoking.
Maybe he'll come down and he will tell me. Maybe he thinks I'm asleep. You know what I'll do? I'll wake up and pretend I'm thirsty, and then we'll see what he says.
Anything you want to talk about, Pete? Anything you need to tell me?
No, I'm feeling a little antsy. I'll be honest with you, honey. I'm just feeling a little antsy.
Cool.
Really?
Okay.
Antsy. That's the word you're going with. Ant.
Yeah, well, I got the jitters, so to speak. So.
You want to go with any other insect-based analogies?
I don't see why. No.
No? Okay. Okay.
Love
cool.
you. Good night. Yeah. Yeah, that.
She just leaves up a note in the morning. What a tangled web we weave.
Harry says the words. Peter's like,
like it unlocks a core memory.
It unlocks like a multiversal like tether.
Okay.
The Great Weaver's like, what? No, thank God. None of that crap is in there. But yes, I do appreciate that Peter hears it and it like resonates with him. I don't like that it comes from Harry Osborne, but
it's weird.
Whatever.
It's
because
weird.
the Ben in this universe would never say that.
Right.
So Pete and Mary Jane go home, and they have a little back and forth where she's like, "That was a weird day. I do not like what we just did there." Like,
What if it came from Jonah in this universe?
that
That would have been better.
I would have appreciated it more, but I also been like, "What does he mean? What is he trying to say?"
It's a very grown-up book.
Yes. That's why I'm like, there's no way. Like, if you're 19 and under, I don't think you're gonna appreciate it on the same level.
Probably not.
You might. I imagine anyone on 1900 is gonna be like, I like the art, but I think it's kind of boring. And I'm like, I get you. Yeah. You know who would have thought it was boring? Me. Up until about 26, I would have been like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Someone's picking this up off the shelf, and you're like, I need that. You won't appreciate as many levels as I will.
I mean, yes. The book is a millennial, middle-age adult fantasy novel. We go back to the day that the building exploded. However many months ago. Harry is late to a function party thing that was supposed to be going on. He's on the phone with his dad. He's being Norman Osborn about it. He's like, "You've always been a pale reflection of me. Like, you're such a loser, blah, blah, blah." Building explodes before Harry's eyes. It's like, oh, did I conjure that? Oh, fuck.
Did I do that?
Uh-oh. And then we see the origin, like Harry gets his inheritance, which is this company. He finds out the company actually absorbed Stain and Stark. He finds out more about that. He has to go, the lawyer that gives him the company is also like, oh, and there's like this king card. That means that Kingpin wants to meet with you. You have to go meet with Wilson Fisk. He used to meet with your dad, but like now it's you, so you got to meet with him. So Harry goes to meet with Kingpin. Kingpin's like, I own you.
Let me tell you how the world works.
Right, or at the very least, like what your world is going to be like from now on, because you are in my world now, bitch. So
Harry's like, I gotta get rid of this guy.
yeah, he's like, this guy is a problem. So Harry like investigate. Like he doesn't just like open a box and all the Iron Man stuff is in there. Like he investigates the building he inherited, and they find like a secret like room, and that's full of Iron Man suits. And he's like, oh, okay, there we go. He's with his wife and Otto Octavius, who's the smartest guy that works for the company, who somehow is thin. Look, it's another universe.
Everything's different.
I'm okay with that, but Otto has been heavy since the beginning. Like it wasn't the arms. It wasn't like, well, I got 4 arms, so I don't have to work out anymore. He has been heavy.
I was just about to say that.
Arms.
He's thin here, but don't worry. Once he gets those arms, he's gonna get real lazy.
Well, the arms got it. And since they're metal, like they're not exercising him at all.
Yeah, he doesn't even to walk. The arms walk
Exactly.
for him.
I still want pizza though.
Yeah, he just looks like one of those Wally humans. He's just like, I don't have bones. They're not connected to me anymore. No, it's actually kind of like a big, important part of his personality. Making him svelte kind of changes Otto on a fundamental level, but he's also changed on a fundamental level.
Like you said, Otto.
Yeah, I was just about to say, now he's Otto.
I think
That's
he
what
is
we'll
now,
call him now.
Otto Octavius. Yeah, I'm down. So Otto helps Harry like modify the suit.
To make it green and shit.
Paint it green and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just an Iron Man suit, but yeah, they do make modifications. It is distinct. It's 25% more.
Yeah, it's got like
distinct than an
pointy
Iron Man
head.
suit. Yeah, they have that helmet and a mask thingy
Gotta be
and everything.
pointy, yeah.
And
And even though all the suits already flew, he needs a glider.
oh yeah, we gotta get that glider. Well, the glider was like part of it. Also the pumpkin bombs, which are not pumpkin bombs. I mean, like,
Stain
Are they
and Stark
repulsor
were
bombs?
Making bombs?
no, they're bombs. They just explode. And also they have like, there's a scene where Harry and Peter are talking as Green Goblin and Spider-Man, and they're using their code names, or rather, they're talking about how they need to be using their code names. And Harry's like, the press calls me Green Goblin, but I don't think that's fair that they get to come up with my code name. I want to name me my code name. Like, I want to come up with something.
Okay.
And Pete's like, what do you got? And he's like, I kind of like Green Goblin. But
Here's the problem. It does sound good.
right, but the bombs that he has been using since before he was Green Goblin have like a laser etching in them of like a goblin face. So like, what's the goblin before you were Goblin? Like, why are you going with a goblin motif? Why aren't they pumpkin bombs? At the very least, if there were pumpkins, it's like, I don't know why you would aesthetically make them pumpkins in any way. It's not like pumpkins and goblins are in any way connected outside of like a Halloween theme. But again, where does that come from? But instead,
Why
it's
does
just
the
like,
coincidentally call him Green Goblin?
I think because, well, I'll
Did
tell
they
you-
know that his bombs
No,
have
the
a
brilliance.
goblin etched in them?
No, that's seemingly completely unrelated, and which I find baffling because like nothing about your visage says goblin, but you etch a goblin into the bombs. But no, I assume that the Bugle calls him that
Oh, and
to
then
demonize
he
him.
starts etching. Oh, I'm Goblin now. I guess I'll just own it.
Yeah, but no, but he's using the goblins on the bombs before he's called
before
Green
he's-
Goblin.
oh, jeez.
They're not, thankfully, on the bombs when he finds them and Otto's explaining it to him, because then it'd be like, oh, so I guess Iron Lad had goblin tech, like to prepare for him. There is a sequence where Pete and Harry meet Iron Lad.
Okay.
And basically, the conversation is like, so I have the histories, and I got the trading cards, I know what your characters are and everything. And he's like, you're Spider-Man, you're idol to millions, you're super important, you're the key to all this. And he's like, and what about me? And he's like, I don't know who you are. Like, you're not on the list.
sorry,
Like, you're not on,
I
like,
don't have you.
like, Maker's priority list of people that need to be taken off the list.
Right.
Spider-Man was like 2 or 3. Like Captain America, Iron Lad, and Spider-Man. He's like, you were not on it. Maybe your dad.
That's not fair. I should be on the list.
Well, he never says anything. He's just like, he just internalizes it.
Yeah.
And these guys make decisions where I'm like, don't do that.
Stop doing that.
And Hickman's like, I know.
Don't
I
send him down that route.
Oh,
Don't do that.
I know where you think this is going. Oh boy, it's gonna be a problem. So, like Harry was watching Shocker when he first beat Spider-Man. Like, he traces the tech from the dead version of Shocker that inherited them to the guy who opportunistically stole them and then takes him down and then takes his tech away because technically Harry is the steward of the Iron Lad's plans.
He's doing the Iron Man armor wars.
Oh yeah, he's doing Armor Wars where he's like,
I
I'm
gotta
gonna
get
take
the tech back.
Right, but that's not Stark tech. That's just Shocker tech, but not.
But
it's-
I know the secrets. The secrets are what makes it the.
yes,
It's
the
high tech,
Armor Wars.
and it shouldn't be out there, and so
Exactly.
I'm gonna get it.
yes.
I've appointed myself the
Well-
guardian of advanced technology in the world.
Well, who else is there?
Right.
And it's like, oh, then you watch TV and it's like, oh, Iron Lad has a whole Avengers team, so you can just step back and
he
let them
does?
take care of it.
Oh.
Well, they don't see that
Oh,
because they're never gonna cross over.
I see.
Like that's something where I'm like, hey, you'd think Spider-Man should be on the Ultimates, but that would make the book sell better. So I guess that's why we're not going to do that. Also, because like we want to make we want Ultimate Spider-Man to be its own thing.
Right.
Clearly.
So Green Goblin defeats
Shocker.
Shocker, and then like murders him, I assume.
No, he just takes he takes his shit away. So now he's like, well, now I'm just Guy.
Okay.
Now I used to be the Shocker.
Does he like drop him off at the police station or something?
No, he just kicks his ass and leaves him in the
Is
pile
he
of
like
his money.
unnecessarily violent with him? Where you're like, oh.
No, he's not like the Punisher or something.
Oh,
he just
okay.
he
Yeah,
just
does he leave like a pumpkin bomb in his mouth?
Right.
no, he just leaves him on the ground and flies away.
Okay, I'm just waiting.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the heel turn.
Well, remember, he hasn't gone through any shit yet, outside of like his father dying, which I would
Well.
think is pretty cathartic. So,
Well, given to his father was, yeah.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, most people, it's a tragedy, but with Norman Osborn, it's like, well, that's an opportunity.
Woo!
Now you're the only Green Goblin.
Yeah, but that's not what happened in the original continuity. His
I
dad
would-
was also an asshole, and he still was like,
and
"Oh,
actually
my
outlives
father."
him. Yeah.
Oh, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the Goblin formula too.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Norman needs to take a special formula. Harry has to puppet around in a little suit.
Is there a formula in this or no?
Doesn't come up yet.
Hasn't
come up yet.
Okay.
But it should. What a problem that would be for this universe. It's a problem for the MCU.
Yeah.
Like, no one in the MCU has to deal with, like, Spider-Man level problems. You know? Like, the super soldier serum is like the most
Yeah.
problematic serum in the MCU, and it makes like abominations and Hydra stuff. But you put one Green Goblin in that movie. Like the first movie, he's like, oh, I gotta fight Shocker and Vulture's like, hey, I'm an everyman. It's like, oh man, he built some stuff that he stole from Chitauri. That's pretty scary. And then the second one, whatever the hell, I don't remember. He fights Mysterio, I guess.
Mysterio, yeah.
Like, it's just another former Stark employee.
Yeah.
And then the third one, fucking Willem Dafoe comes back, and he's just like, I am genetically crazy. And he's like, what? And then beats the living shit out of him. And I'm
Yes.
like, dope. Also, sad, because you're from another universe and you're that guy's enemy, not this guy's enemy.
Yeah, but
He does
he's still
punch
Spider-Man.
him though, so
Yeah. How relatable and great is it that the guy who murdered Aunt May is a multiversal traveler?
yeah, that's
Cool.
it's a bolt from the blue.
That's true. Yeah, I can never get revenge on him.
Yep.
Because otherwise a Spider-Man will show up and punch me or give me a stern look. Because that's what stops him. It's a stern look from a 47-year-old Spider-Man. You asked about photos and stuff. Peter is technically a photojournalist. I guess he is we never see any of that.
He's just like a more successful photographer.
He never takes a picture in this whole damn series.
He's a photojournalist. He doesn't take pictures of costumed crusaders parading around the city.
Why the hell not? That's what you do. Also, it's
No,
way
I
more
cover like
interesting.
wars and stuff.
Okay, I've never seen you leave the zip code
Yeah, I used to.
until like issue 7, but we'll get there later. Oh, so Pete and Harry basically resign themselves to the idea that like we have to stop people like Fisk. Like Fisk is a problem, the world order is a problem, and now we have the power to do something about it. So let's do that. Then we show that Green Goblin has taken Bullseye and dissected him more or less. He's still alive and kicking, but he finds out about like the augmentations,
Right.
the endoskeleton and whatnot.
Yeah, we see the tattoos you referenced.
Exactly, which Fisk has as well.
Yeah. Does he like carve them out of him?
He says something like, it must have hurt a lot to have them removed. Like he implies that he took them out.
Oh shit. So he's no longer augmented.
I guess, but also it doesn't matter because there's like 7 more Bullseyes.
So what's he gonna do with him?
I don't know.
Keeping him,
Just
keeping
keeps
locked
him in
up
a-
in his basement.
Right, I guess.
Okay, that's a little dark. That's
It
what I'm
is-
talking
yeah,
about.
there we
All
go.
right.
Now we're in Osborne.
All right,
territory.
all right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. And then
Yeah.
there's another one. Okay.
And the book rolls on. This is the end.
Okay.
So Pete comes home. It's June, and his family, wife, 2 kids, are eaten, and he is beaten savagely.
Oh.
Pete has black eyes and everything. I'm like, oh my God, Peter, what happened? He's like, oh, I fell. And they're like, no, you effing didn't.
Yeah, that's not the wounds from a fall.
No. And then
Holy
May is
shit.
like, you did it because you're a superhero.
Uh,
And he's like, well, honey, I guess the cat's out of the bag. Let's talk about it. Okay, yes, I have spider powers, and I was trying to stop a bad guy, and I got my butt kicked. Let me tell you what happened. So we go back. Let's go back.
Let's go back.
So
At the end of the story, once he's all done with his story, Mary Jane and the kids are just gone.
yeah, we open with them, happily around the dinner table, and then we end with the empty table and Peter by himself with the Picotech suit ball on the table, just looking at him. No,
You chose this.
we get there. So Pete and Gabi are going to break into Fisk's house and just beat him up.
Just gonna get him.
Just gotta fucking get him.
Did they get drunk ahead of time and come up with this plan?
They might as well. I mean, they did, but it's not like they did that and then immediately went to Fisk's house. Like, hey, what'd be great? Let's just go there now and beat him up.
Let's just stop him.
Let's just
Let's
stop.
just stop it.
We totally could.
Yeah, we could. I got superpowers. You got a super armor suit. Let's do it. Let's go. I know where he lives.
I need you to fly the glider, man.
Actually, could you land this thing because the heights and the gyroscope are really messing up, up. And the suit's like, I have reabsorbed your vomit into
A nutrient paste.
nutrient paste that you can use to.
Oh,
sustain
please
it.
don't.
No, girl. Oh no, I hate the intravenous feeding. So, anyway, they're gonna break in.
Yeah.
And Pete's like, I don't. This is. What are we doing?
What's the plan?
Right.
again?
What is the plan? And he's like, we're just gonna get him. And he's
gonna
like,
get him.
He goes, I have literally never broken a law in my life.
No,
Ever.
not true.
So then they smash through the window. And he's like, that's breaking and entering. There we go. That's just wanton destruction of private property. They smash through the window. Oh, they've been waiting for Fisk to like make a move, and then like the lights turn out. And he's like, okay, let's go. So they smash through there, and Fisk is like, well, it took you long enough. I own like every building in the block. We have security all over it. Like I've been watching you guys for the last like 2 hours, just waiting to jump me. So let's do this. Push the button. A cage drops like in Spider-Man 1.
Oh no!
And some guy was like, cage! No, so the cage drops down, and they're like, uh-oh. And so Fisk is like, let's go. And he just starts wailing on them.
Oh boy. Oh
You know? Pete webs him in the face, and he just
It's like,
rips
what
it
the?
off.
You almost killed him.
Yeah, no. Pete's like, hey, stop! Like, whoa, 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 whoa,
What are
whoa!
you doing?
You like.
We just wanted to talk.
Yeah, no. Fisk like socks Harry and like bashes him in the knees. Whoa, whoa, whoa! If he wasn't wearing that armor, you would have killed him. And I'm like, that's a very rational thing to
Yeah.
think and say.
Oh,
but like,
Peter.
dude, you broke through the window.
Yeah.
Like, he's a power broker of the like world order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but like, I don't know. I just thought.
What was your plan? Like, do you think you're just gonna punch me in the eye and I'm gonna go, oh, I'm gonna turn myself in? To whom? Anyway, they're fighting.
Yep.
Harry blasts Fisk's shirt off. We see that he's got the similar tattoos, and he's like, I'm some modifications of my own.
Yep.
And so they battle, and it's just like a savage beating. He's like, ah! Pete swings back in. He's like, hey, I actually have superpowers. Like, I maybe could stop you.
Right.
And they just get the living shit kicked out of them until the glider shows up and then just takes them away. And he's like, yeah, leave.
Wow.
Bye.
Wow.
They just get the shit rocked. And it's like, oh, sorry.
Yikes.
And they pumpkin bomb the wall and just leave. And Pete's like, and that's the story of a really, really ill-conceived scheme that I made with my new best friend. And they're like, wow.
Mary Jane's like, Peter, if you don't want to tell me,
What
don't
really
tell
happened?
me. But don't you stand there and lie to me.
No. She is like, clear the room. His son is like, I have questions. And he's like, and I have answers for later, but I have to talk to your mom. So they leave, and he's like, hey, honest, how mad are you? And she's like, there's a lot to unpack. And I like know this is part of the conversation you and I had. But like,
So really, I'm kind of blaming myself a little bit,
Right.
But mostly you.
well, she's like, that's not the question I have for you. And he's like, do you want to see the suit? He's like, okie dokie. So he turns it on and he gets his Spider-Man suit. And she's like, nice. Like, yeah, this is a good look. This is great.
It's like, all right, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. She's just kind of like,
She's like, I'm a little scared. I'm
Right.
proud. Some other things.
which I can't really get into right now because the kids
Right.
are home. But like, it's just, and this is where I'm like, I get it. I love it, and it's not to say that like relationships are being henpecked by your wife. Like it's that like he lied to his wife about a life-changing decision that affected his entire family.
Yeah.
And it's not that he wasn't ever going to tell her,
Right.
but he didn't tell her when it mattered.
Yeah, he
And
had to tell her when there was really no choice.
when there was no choice. It wasn't even like he opted to tell her, found a
Right.
good choice. And so like that's
So you co-opted our daughter into this line?
well, and that's just like that was an accident. I don't like it, but I also I'm more willing to forgive that shit as opposed to like him just never saying anything and then for her to be like, I'm proud of you. And it's like, obviously she's not saying I'm proud of you for keeping the secret from
No.
me. But it's like, I'm proud of you for making a decision. And I guess it's just like, this is how low Peter has been for her entire like life with him.
Right.
It's like
It's like I can't give him any shit.
right, like
now.
I appreciate that you made a decision for yourself.
Well, and I'm also proud that you're trying to do good.
Yeah, that you grabbed at power and the only thing you want to do with it is the right thing. That's kind of remarkable for a guy with a self-esteem as low as yours. So I guess, you know what? It would not be constructive of me to yell at you right now. Let's just say I'll remember this.
Right.
But like even that doesn't come up. And I'm just saying like I caution people who love Mary Jane as a character in this book. She is a great character. She is given way more agency in this than she has in the last 20 years of Amazing Spider-Man. But I would have liked a little more. Maybe a little friction. Not like Hickman's allergic to it. And I just feel like it could have used it. Also, we have no time for that, and I appreciate it. We do get support. And it's just like, I appreciate that Mary Jane is the support structure for Peter, that she bolsters him, she makes him proud, and she makes him feel strong. But also, they are a partnership, and she has her own agency, and she should be treated as an equal. So it ends with him being like, I'm still working on the name. And she's like, oh, Peter, isn't it obvious? You're Spider-Man. And it's wonderful as a crescendo to the end of this book because it's like, you're Spider-Man. I'm naming you. It's obvious, but also it is now that you are Spider-Man. Like, you got the powers, you got the mantra, you have the fighting, you also have failed. You're Spider-Man now. Like, now you're Spider-Man. This book has not been about Spider-Man until you lost a fight.
What's Tobey Maguire's first name when he goes into the cage?
Human Spider.
Human Spider.
I was thinking I'd be the Human Spider.
Oh, that sucks.
You know what? I'm supportive of this whole thing,
But
but
not
you
that.
just lost me completely.
Completely.
With that name.
You just
What is wrong with you?
awful. You know, and now that I think about it, you lied to me.
Hey, wait a second. The spell is broken.
Yeah.
That horrible
Yeah.
name choice.
Yep.
Oh, you're just an idiot.
Oh,
my
God.
God.
In fact, why did I even marry you?
People can call me
Kids,
arachnophobia.
pack your shit.
Get your shit.
We're going to grandma's.
Kids, grab your go bags.
Grandma's dead.
No, Grandma's alive.
No. Her mom.
Her mom.
Oh, her mom, yes.
Grandma's dead. It's all about you, isn't it, Peter? And I'll tell you this, my wife had a very different read on this than I did. Because I was like, oh, geez, I can't believe you lied to her. She's like, I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Why he lied to her?
Yeah.
Or why yeah, I can
Yeah,
see why
and
he
she
did.
gets her reaction. Like, no, Tiffany was like, oh, Mary Jane, not only does she have agency, but she proves that she is the stronger of the two based on her reactions. And I was like, I don't know anything about women. Even when I think I do, I am proven wrong, which is, I think, everything I can know about women. Women.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of the problem is like the other reaction you often see is like
It's henpecking. It's like
which is
and
right.
then,
That's horrible.
It could have been
too.
horribly toxic, where it's like she goes and then he just grabs her and swings around the city and
Yes.
shows her how awesome it is.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that.
You don't want that shit. And instead you
So-
just get this person who's like, no. I said what I meant when we talked about this.
Yeah.
And even if I didn't know the specifics, I still meant what I said.
Yeah.
And here is my rubber meeting the road. And I'm like, that's fair. So this is drawn primarily by Marco Cecchetto with art additionally by David Messina. Messina's art is smartly dedicated to talking head sequences, just the dinner scene and the like Harry flashback scenes, like just scenes where regular people are doing regular people things.
Okay.
Because then we give the big bombastic stuff to Cecchetto because that's like what you're here for. All the fight scenes are great looking. All the character designs are solid. MJ has never looked better than in this.
Yeah.
And it's all because of the hair. It's the hair.
hair is
Cecchetto nails it when it comes to female hair. I don't know what it is. Elektra looks unbelievable in the Daredevil book. When you see it later, Black Cat, amazing hair in that as well. It's just something that he nails really well. Something I never really gave two thoughts about at any point during the beginning half, 2/3 of my comic book reading career. But nowadays I'm like, whoa, that hair is spectacular. And also, I guess Spider-Man looks really cool. And he does, and it is, and I'm not wrong. So it's like, yeah, it's a great book. Definitely pick it up. It's in the comments down below. At least the first volume is. If not, it's some kind of oversized collection edition. If there isn't one, shame on you, Marvel, because there's 2 volumes out right now, and I guess you could sell each of them for $20 a piece, which is highway robbery, but also the books are great, so it's worth buying, and especially giving money to these companies so that they know what books to publish and what books to maybe send down the river. I was gonna make Amazing Spider-Man. I was gonna dog on Amazing Spider-Man, but
the actual Spider-Man.
on the main book, but Joe Kelly's writing it, and he's a good writer, so you're getting good stuff out of it. And the art is great. It's the best looking Amazing Spider-Man has been in years. And that's the highest praise I can give that book.
So who knows what'll happen with it?
Well, yeah. I mean, eventually he'll just leave because there's no way that he's being paid enough. So,
Because it's Marvel.
because it's Marvel.
It's the Marvel method.
You know, all the... Yeah, it is the Marvel method.
Well, it is now.
Yeah, trick people into thinking that it's an honor to be paid a pittance to draw our characters.
I don't understand. Do you know who you're working for?
You get to draw Sleepwalker and Darkhawk. You're welcome.
I could do that at home.
You could, but you're getting paid, and you get some exposure.
I barely get paid.
True.
Yeah, but I know you do it for free.
I know you would do it for free. And one day, you'll draw Batman.
So there you go.
Wait, you don't know Batman? Yeah, I know.
That's because they all leave to go do Batman. I think that we've been the most critical of this book than anyone on Earth.
Oh yeah?
Yes,
Today or just now?
just now. And
I don't see how, because we're about to jump into number 2.
I know, I love this book unequivocally. I think it's fantastic. I think it's the smartest Spider-Man's been written in decades. And it is a true successor to the Babylon 5 creator J. Michael Straczynski run, where they reconciled the idea that Spider-Man must be in his 30s. And so if that is true, how would he reconcile having been Spider-Man since 15? This is a Spider-Man who is definitively 35 at least, and has not been Spider-Man until then.
Yeah.
Concept is fantastic and new and fresh and exciting. I pray it never ends, and I really enjoy it. It's not even that I say it's flawed, but I will challenge ideas that are presented within it, like all good fiction should. So that's okay. Us being critical or suggestive of motivations behind these characters is not indicative of our enjoyment of the material.
It's just because we're gun-shy from previous books.
Well, yeah, it's because we've been hurt before in the past. And also because it's important to be analytical and critical of any fiction or any media that you consume, and it is fun to talk about, and it doesn't in any way detract from the enjoyment of it. It's not a condemnation.
Also, well-written characters can make mistakes.
Yes.
So maybe you're supposed to think that these are some questionable decisions being made here.
Yeah, maybe.
Or the writer would say, like, well, that's a very valid interpretation of what's
Right.
happening on the page.
Yeah, there you go. We'll see you guys next week with another episode. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
Keep reading. Whip.
Anyway, number 2.
Yeah, all right, let's jump into it. Black Cat is fun because they spent 3 covers teasing that Black Cat will be in it, and then she doesn't appear.
Really?
I'm like, you liar.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, we get some great stuff, like Pete meets Hotto Octavius. We find out more about like their decisions. He meets Iron Lad. We meet Black Cat 1 and 2.
I'm sorry, is Peter
Black Cat
now
1
being
and
like the Dread Pirate Roberts with this mouth thing?
What do you mean?
Is that Peter or is that somebody else?
Oh no, that's Black Cat.
That's Black. Oh, is that Black Cat's dad?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.